It's recording. All right. Make sure we have some good fluid motion with this. This way nothing lags up. It actually messes with my eyes if I see it glitching. Oh, goodness gracious. But hey guys, my name is Jeremy, and if you've come across this page for the first time, I wanted to say thank you for tuning in. Something that reflecting back, this whole video, what you're watching is there. This whole page was designed to encourage people who have lost loved ones or people that they care about, those that are close to them. So I encourage you to go check out other videos after you're done watching this one after a couple minutes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that night that I wanted to kill myself. I remember, oh man, I was so high off of drugs that, when I had gotten arrested, I just felt embarrassed. I had, I had 4 ounces of weed on me, and the policeman came and got me from the library. And I remember just sitting in the library that day. I was using the computer, wasn't reading a book, that's for sure. I was on, I think I was on MySpace or Facebook. That's how far back it was, like 8 years ago. Oof, wow. But I remember that, and I remember just everything flashing through my mind all at once. When I just remember the shame. Yeah, I remember just how I just, oh gosh, it was just such a heavy weight that I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed of what I did, and primarily because I thought I had gotten everyone's trust back, so that way I can go back to what I was doing. And so I just, man, it was just something that I really felt. I just, oh gosh, it was bad. So when they took me in, if you guys are watching, comment below. I know you're watching, but hey guys, but I remember that shame and the weight. And so when they took me into the D home, I just, people were just they were cutting their eyes at me, and I remember doing that. But my mom ended up coming to get me from the detention home, and because they didn't have any open cells that night, and so she had to come get me and pick me up and take me home. That was probably the worst drive home that I had ever had. I love my mom, and so she was just only doing what she thought was right, and and I just, but she was just asking me why I was doing it. And I was taking it as she was talking down to me, and she only meant the best. Is asking me why was I doing this, what's going on, and I really, I was just so ashamed inside of myself, and because I had the devil talking in my ear over here saying you're just worthless. You might as well just end it. You have a bottle full of melatonin in your room. You might as well take it. So when you get home, just shut the door. You're a loser and you have nothing to look forward to. That's how I felt. And then my mom asked me that stuff. I just went through that filter, and I'm just like, oh man. And so I just felt so bad. My mom, I love her to death. I'm closer to her now than I was then. And so I just, man, I was just making so many bad decisions, and it was just compiling on top of me. And I just felt that weight. And so when I got in the room that night, I remember shutting the door, and I remember shutting that door and just going by my bedside, and I grabbed the bottle of melatonin, and I set it right in front of me, and I called my friend because I knew there was something on the inside of me. There's a better way. There's got to be something about it, And I just, for me, I goodness gracious, I called one guy that I knew. His name was Anthony, and there were, love the guy, man. And I called him, and, um, that's where I just told him I felt like killing myself. And he just told me to stop. He lived right down the street from me in the neighborhood. So he came and, came down the road and just talked me into suicide. Ooh, hang on, let's make sure we get some fluid motion here. But he taught me into suicide, and I just was like, cool, whatever. He didn't tell me anything. He just tried to encourage me, say you're gonna be a great man, whatever. And just doing some, just common denominator motivation is what I would like to call it. So, and just trying to encourage me. And so then I just remember I'm going back in my room and I grabbed this. I looked at the bottle, I tossed it aside, and I don't know what it was. Like it was, I just kind of like sprang up out of nowhere. It was like for the longest time I was teetering the line of walking with God because I grew up in a Christian home. I mean, we went to church every Sunday, and then when the parents divorced, we went there every Christmas and stuff. And I remember just doing that, but I was so bored out of my mind. After all the complications with my parents, and then divorcing, I just didn't see that lifestyle modeled in front of me the way and it was very common in the household that it was said, "Do as I say, not as I do." And as a kid, that just doesn't ring true. When you're a kid, you soak up everything about body language, how you talk, how people talk, what they say, what they do, the possessions that we have, and all the philosophies of your parents. As a kid, you capture that, you soak up more than that than you realize. And so that's why kids are like sponges, man. It's just everything about us. We as kids we soak up. And so um, I just remember in my heart just saying, okay, all right, God, let's do this. And next thing I know, um, I don't know, I just didn't want to do drugs anymore. I didn't want to try and numb stress. I didn't want to try and escape or anything. I'm like, okay, like it was that simple. Um, Sorry, got dry mouth. Talking a lot, but I remember that. I just was like, huh, I want to start reading my Bible. Like, I just literally popped up out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Uh, this is okay, cool, I guess. And I just started reading my Bible, man. It was crazy. And that's where, for me, I just started reading the Bible, and I don't know, I just got this like in my gut to start doing better, and I desired to start doing things, and um, then I had my court hearing and stuff, and they gave me two choices, man. Man, those two choices were pretty interesting too, and I remember when they gave me one choice was an outpatient rehabilitation center in Huntsville, Alabama. That required my mom to travel back and forth twice a day, 3 times a week, and I'm the oldest of three. Like that is not happening. I mean, I had to be extremely selfish to choose that to stay where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, I would have been miserable. So then the second one they gave me was an inpatient, inpatient um, facility, a 12-step program in Mobile, Alabama. I thought to myself immediately, I'm like, I have got to get away from here. I have got to separate myself. And it seemed right in my gut. And I was like, I'll take the second one because I got to get away from here. And I couldn't put my mom through that. There's no way. Like I, no. And so then that right there, was the start. I think was a good pivotal point that that I started to start following the voice of God, and I mean, really, that was a huge preparation, and that is actually what propelled me to where I am now. And it was simple as that. Where I'm at right now, what I can circle it, I can trace it back to that. You know, I and I just Jesus says that my sheep know my voice. And what's amazing is how when that night, I just, man, no one had ever shared the gospel with me that I remember 100% saying, just receive Jesus in your heart and bam, you're good. And see, that's how easy it is. If anybody of you, well, if any of you feel like you just don't have purpose, I'm grateful for the people that I have in my life, but I want to encourage you that if you're struggling with suicide, just know that if there's any shame, there's a lot of people who struggle with suicide for various reasons. And so, when it comes to shame, or it comes to like if you're lacking purpose, or you just feel discouraged because things are just failing, or you just want to go meet your loved one. Like my dad was murdered in 2010. I totally understand. I've been there. I've thought about those thoughts have crossed my mind when everything happened, especially when my dad's murdered in 2010. I thought to myself, man, what was it like? What would it be like to go see him again? But then I thought to myself, I've got purpose on this life to impact people that before I go up and see him. So he's going to cheer me on in the cloud of witnesses. And I remember distinctly hearing his voice saying, "You are my son." I'd never heard that before. Never. And it broke me down in tears. I'll share more of that later on in a different video. But I remember that. I was just, man, wrecked. And so, anyways, I just want to encourage you guys that are struggling with suicide, that I understand. I've been there. I've come out of it. I just remember, flat out, I'm like, okay, I just kind of gave God a chance. I'm like, okay, what, let's do this. And that's the craziest cool thing, and I just man, it's just nuts to just think back, and see that, because later on, when I got out of the rehab down in Mobile, Alabama, I later found out that night my next door neighbor was praying for me. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, oh my gosh. Man, how awesome was that? I'm gonna do a different video on urgency, and whenever God puts something on your heart to do it. But man, think about that. Like, God put it on her heart to pray for me that night, and that was the night that I was gonna kill myself. But because she was praying, things were happening. So I want to encourage you guys. You guys have purpose. You have a reason why you're here. Now find it. Get with God and find it. Man, if you just give him a chance and let him show you. He did for me. And I'm telling you, life is amazing. I don't have time to get into all that right now, but it is amazing. Just want to encourage you guys, man. You guys have it. You have purpose. So whatever is going on is trying to get you out of this, out of line, to get you out of the way. Because since you do have purpose, these challenges that are coming, whatever they may look like, you guys have a purpose and you can live it out. Because you have a decision. And things may be tough and maybe immeasurably ridiculous, but there is a way. You have to believe it, and that's when it's going to cause you to reach out to those resources, those people. Because there's a quote, someone said this: it's not about your circumstance or the people the resources you have in your possession that keep you from success. It's your resourcefulness. A lot of times that equals relationships, and knowing people, or just going out using like the library computer to do it in an online business, or just doing something. There's a way to do it. Now it's up to you to silence this and find it. You guys have it. You have a purpose, man. You got it. So I want to encourage you, man. Just if you guys want to reach out to us on the page, please. Me and my team, what we'll do is we'll respond back as soon as we can, because there are a lot of messages coming in and we don't want to miss anybody. So if you, I encourage you to reach out to family and friends that you know, those you trust. If you need somebody to talk to, we're here for you. So, but I got to run, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please pay it forward. If you thought of anybody throughout this whole video, tag them in it, share this with them, send it to a message, smoke signal to them. Don't even think about it. Just share it, because there's someone that has got to hear this message. So, guys, I appreciate you guys watching this for however long this was, and I will see you guys on the other side, and we are here if you guys need us. Talk soon.